It's now time for your favorite in-depth basketball show, Full Court Press, with the myth, the legend, Raindrops Groulx!
Welcome to Full Court Press. I hope you guys are doing great. I'm your host, Justin Raindrops Groulx. Now, I'm excited for every single episode of FCP, but this is a real big one. In a little bit, you guys are going to get the chance to hear from former NBL Canada player Lavione West. Now, this is a huge interview, and Lavione's got a great story. You guys won't believe where he's calling us from. It's absolutely amazing. I'm really excited for you guys to hear it. But before we get into the show, I want to give a shout out to the Windsor Lancers. They won their fourth straight CIS women's basketball title. They defeated the St. Mary's Huskies 71-45 not too long ago, and the Carleton Ravens flying high, defeating the Ottawa GGs 79-67 to win their fourth straight CIS men's basketball title. So congratulations to both of those teams. Now let's look at the NBL, the National Basketball League of Canada. Now the playoffs, as you know, are well underway. We've got round 2 in the Central Division all set in stone. It's going to be the Windsor Express versus the reigning champion London Lightning. Now London defeated the Brampton A's on March 15th in the 5th and final game of their first round series to get into round number 2. I was at the game in Brampton. They just couldn't pull it together. There's a lot of lost chemistry, it looked like, in the first half, and there was a call at the end of the game. I believe it was a goaltending call in the last couple of minutes, and I think it just threw the A's off. You know, they're a new team, an expansion team, so not that much experience when it comes to the playoffs. So they ended up losing the game 90-86, and the London Lightning are going to round 2. So congratulations to the Lightning, and best of luck to them and the Windsor Express on the journey to the NBL Championship Series. If you guys tune in to episode number 2, you know my prediction was wrong. I picked the Brampton A's to make it to round 2, and I'm owning up now. I was not right on that one. The Lightning, they shot me down. Now, I said it would be the A's versus the Express, but of course, that didn't happen. Sometimes, you can't win them all. That's just what happens. That's just the way the game goes sometimes. Now, as I sit in studio, the Island Storm and Halifax Rainmen are tied up at 1 game apiece in their second round series. I'm sticking by my original prediction and saying the Storm are making it to the league finals. I say it's going to be PEI against the Windsor Express in this year's championship. Now, I'm hoping for that just for the sake of seeing a new champion. Since the league's debut, the London Lightning have won the NBL championship every year. They're 2-time champions, defending champions. Nothing against London, but personally for me, it's always nice to see a new champion and a new face of the league. Now, switching things over to college basketball, of course, it's the month of March, which means NCAA March Madness is here. NCAA March Madness, the most exciting time in the year for college basketball. Really excited for it. The best college teams battle it out to crown the NCAA champion. Now, personally, I'd like to see Kansas win just so Canadian phenom Mr. Andrew Wiggins can pick up a championship before heading to the NBA. But the Jayhawks are probably going to be without Joel Embiid, so Wiggins is going to have to really step up big in Joel's absence. Wiggins has had a good college career so far, averaging around 17 points per game and 6 rebounds. But I've always had a soft spot for Duke, the Blue Devils. I'm a fan of Jabari Parker as well, but Duke, they have a tendency to blow big games. They've shown that in the past. Now, Parker's pulling down 8.8 rebounds a game and dropping 19.3 points. You never know what could happen. A lot of crazy things go down NCAA March Madness in the NCAA tournament. You look at a team like Wichita State, they went 34-0 on the regular season. That's huge. 34-0, that's undefeated, a perfect season. And if you didn't know it, Andrew Wiggins' older brother Nick is a part of that squad, so there's a fun fact for this episode for you guys. Or you take a team like Florida, the Gators, they went 32-2. Very impressive, very dominant. There's so much going on this year, so many questions. I'm not going to go out and make a bold prediction right away because I want to wait and see what happens in the early goings of this tournament. And a shout out to some of our Canadians taking part in the madness. There's a lot of Canadians, 27 guys in total, participating in the NCAA Finals tournament. We've got guys like the Wiggins brothers, Tyler Ennis from Brampton, Nick Stauskas from Mississauga, Melvin Agim out of Toronto, and so many more. And get this, out of the top 5 shot blockers in the NCAA, 3 of them are Canadian. That's awesome. I love to see that. Great to see the growth of Canada basketball continue. Those 3 guys are Jordan Baczynski for Arizona State, Ken Birch for UNLV, and 7'5" beast Sim Buller out of Toronto and playing for New Mexico State. That's right, he's 7'5". That's huge. No wonder he's in the top 3 for blocks. It's crazy. So we'll definitely keep an eye on the NCAA and see all the action that goes down. or if you will, all the madness. And that's when we cue the laugh track, folks. Now switching things up and looking at the NBA, the Raptors are still in third place. Looking at the Eastern Conference, first and second place in the East, those are write-offs. They're locked up by the Indiana Pacers and Miami Heat. No one's touching them. It's mathematically impossible. Pacers and Heat have those spots to themselves. They're set for the playoffs. As of right now, the Raptors are half a game above Chicago for that third spot in the Eastern Conference. And it's amazing to see how strong the conference has actually become. Before, the winning record stopped with the Raptors in Chicago, but now you've got teams like the 5th place Wizards and 6th place Nets above 500. Now, of course, that's nothing compared to the West, which has always been a little bit more dominant the past few years. West always takes over the East. That tends to be the case. That tends to be what happens. So you look at the West, the 9th place Phoenix Suns are well above 500, and they're not even in the Western Conference playoffs if the playoffs were to start today. That's insane. But the Raptors and Bulls need to keep winning in the East if they want to maintain their safe positioning. It's certainly going to be interesting to see how things look once the playoffs start next month. Now, real quickly for you guys, before we get to the interview with Lavione West, I need to bring up Survivor. Now, why, you ask? This is a show about basketball, but don't worry, this relates. It relates. Because this season, former 6th Man of the Year and NBA All-Star Cliff Robinson braves the island. Now, on the March 12th episode, his tribe, the Braun Tribe, they attempted to throw a basketball-themed challenge in order to vote Cliff off. Now, rant time. I've got a huge problem with that. You don't throw a challenge so early into a game. You don't ever throw a challenge. That early into the game of Survivor, it's all about team, keeping your tribe strong. Plain and simple, you do whatever you can to keep your tribe as strong as possible and win every challenge you can. And once the merge goes down, you guys go in as a big group, you knock everybody off, and then once it's just your tribe left, that's when you start turning on each other and you start acting like a snake. That's the game of Survivor. That's what happens. That's how it goes down, folks. That's how you play Survivor. Seriously, sometimes these contestants, they just really annoy me to ridiculous levels. It really is a challenge being a fan of this show sometimes. But I love it. Great to watch, a lot of fun, and the sights are absolutely beautiful. That's one of the biggest pros of watching Survivor. The sights and sounds are amazing. It's great to see all these exotic locations. Now, speaking of exotic locations, Mongolia. Now, why do I say Mongolia? Because that's where Lavione West played the final half of this basketball season. I didn't even know there was professional basketball in Mongolia. I'm admitting that to you guys right now, and I bet you didn't know either. Now, Lavione West was a member of the original Mississauga Power roster, but was released a little while ago. He signed to a team in Mongolia, and he played basketball. Now he's back. He's back in the United States. Sadly, his team didn't make the playoffs in Mongolia. But that's just the way things go. An incredible experience, a great story, a lot of fun to talk with Lavione West, and I'm excited for you guys to hear his whole basketball journey and his trip to Mongolia. A lot of fun. So you guys, without further ado, here it is, Mr. Lavione West. First off, Lavione, how are you today, sir?
I'm good. It's actually Monday night here in Mongolia.
In Mongolia, it's absolutely amazing that you're playing in Mongolia. That's crazy.
Yes, it is. Like I was telling you beforehand, it's kind of crazy how it all played out, how I ended up out here in Mongolia.
Yeah, how did that all happen?
Well, the day after the power released me, I was on the plane ride home. And I was just thinking, man, I can't believe my first professional season is not how I wanted it to go.
Yeah.
I got off the plane in Arizona that night. It was Saturday night. Sunday morning, I was going to go on a hike with my girlfriend and her mother. And I get an email from an agent, are you still interested in playing basketball and whatnot? And I was like, yeah, if you can find me something. Most definitely. So I sat my phone down. I went on a hike with my girlfriend and her mom for about an hour and a half. We went on a lovely hike in the mountains in Arizona. We went to this sub spot and had lunch or whatever. I come home and first thing I do is check my email when I get to the house. And believe it or not, I had a contract laid out right there for me. So it was literally the next morning when I woke up. It was at 10 a.m. It was amazing. It was crazy.
Well, yeah, that's definitely an insane feeling. You go out just for a hike, get lunch, come back, and bam, right there, contract laid out. Wow. So what was going through your mind when you saw that?
A lot of different things. It was really a blessing, and I just want to thank God for that, first of all. And it was just one of those things where I was like, man, it's still alive. My dream's still alive. To finish my first professional full season. And now I'm here in Mongolia trying to take care of business, hopefully help my team get into the playoffs and hopefully win a championship.
in all honesty, I never really thought of basketball being that big in Mongolia. How many clubs are out there?
7. There's 7 teams. Top 4 get into the playoffs. Right now we're the 5 seed, a half game back, and we have to play the team that we're half game back on Thursday night.
Okay, so that's definitely a huge game.
Yeah, it'll be very interesting how these last 3 games are going to play out. Basketball is really growing over here. I guess the league's been around for 3 years, and everyone just loves the game of basketball. Like I've always said, basketball is a international language, and I'm learning firsthand that it really is.
Yeah, it's a perfect way to put it because it's growing around the world. As you're saying, it's getting bigger and bigger in Mongolia. It's great to see. I personally love basketball. It's my favorite sport. So let's take a break from Mongolia. Let's go back to the beginning. Where did your love for basketball? When did that start exactly?
My love for basketball, I want to say it was 7th grade is probably when I first started kind of liking basketball. I was okay at it. My first love was baseball. I was a shortstop and a pitcher. Quite good, might I add. If you ask my mom about it, she would say I should have played baseball. And then it was football. I was a quarterback and wide receiver.
Oh, nice.
And then basketball was kind of my third love. But ever since I picked up a basketball in 7th grade at Lyons Middle School in Clinton, Iowa, it's just been a change, like a whole change of the person that I am today. So, it started in 7th grade. It was quite crazy.
And it just kind of happened from there, I guess. You started in grade 7, then I guess you played in high school. You went on to play in high school?
Yes. Funny thing about me is I moved around a lot. So 7th grade I was in Clinton. 8th grade I was in Davenport. And then I went to Davenport West High School. And that's where I met wonderful coach Mark Bigler. My mom, my whole family, starting with my mom, we call him Papa Biggs because he's looked out for me ever since I was playing basketball for him. And I was fortunate enough to play basketball for him. For 4 years, I was on starting varsity all 4 years of high school.
Oh, wow.
And, he was just like a father figure to me. He kind of helped me hone my skills in basketball. He set me up with different coaches, Ray Swatella, who coached at Division III Augustana College at the time, and I used to go work out with those guys and things like that. So just a combination of those 3 people in my life, starting from when I was in 9th grade, is how I've grown to love the game of basketball and how I am the person that I am today.
That's amazing to hear. Did you have any NBA players that you looked up to? Any pro players?
Not personally that I knew of, but obviously everybody's going to tell you Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
I don't know anybody that's not a Michael Jordan fan, but for me, I really like Scottie Pippen. My whole family's from Chicago, so the Bulls kind of run in our blood, and I really like Scottie Pippen because defensive-minded player, and I feel that he can do everything. And I always tell this to everybody. Whoever wants to have this argument with me, I'll have it with them. Without Scottie, there is no Michael Jordan. So people could take it how they want to take it. Michael Jordan's still the greatest player to ever play the game, but I don't think Michael would have been as good as he is now or was if he didn't have Scottie Pippen.
Yeah, I wish I disagreed with you so we could have a little argument here here on the show, but I totally agree with you. Without Scottie, he was his right-hand man. Michael Jordan, he wouldn't have had that. I don't know if he probably would have been able to carry the team, but Scottie certainly helped big time.
Oh, yes, most definitely.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. Now, were there any skills that you specialized in, especially when you're starting out in the game, or were you more of an all-around player?
That's a tough question. I really don't know because in 7th grade, when I first started out, I was the tallest.
Yeah.
But I didn't play in the post. I like to dribble a little bit and I like to shoot. So I think it was more of an all-around thing. But when I got to high school, it was more slashing. That's when I really started dunking. So it was more slashing and trying to dunk and things like that, and mid-range pull-ups and stuff like that. But for right now, I really think it's just all around. I'm trying to become, even now, a more complete all-around basketball player, whether that's passing, scoring, on the defensive end of things, help defense, on-ball defense, all of that.
Yeah, for sure. That's a big goal, have that all-around game, helps you out in the court. Now, you said getting all splashy and dunks and stuff. When was your first dunk?
My first dunk? 8th grade, J.B. Young Middle School. We were outside before classes started. It was probably 8 o'clock in the morning. Me and my buddies would always go play basketball right there on the playground, and like we were just all like really excited one day. You know how 8th graders are running around like chickens with their heads cut
exactly.
off. And we're out there, and they were like, Lavione, try to dunk it. I was like, there's no way. Like, I'm thinking at the time, like, this is like the rim is like way up there. Like, there's no way. But a couple of my friends, we tried it, and then I was the first one to get it down. And then after that, it kind of took off. That's when I kind of tried to want to dunk all the time. And I mean, I think it helped a little bit.
Oh, for sure, definitely. Yeah, definitely a good start to your day, slamming the ball. That's wicked. So you played, you started off in grade 7, then you went and played in high school. What happened after high school? What was the path that you took?
The path that I took after high school is, believe it or not, this is another reason why they call my high school coach Papa Biggs. I went on to be coached by his son, Brad Bigler, at Southwest Minnesota State University, Division II in Marshall, Minnesota.
Yeah, I'm on the website right now, and I see the Bigler name trending all over the place.
Yes.
That's awesome.
I love the Bigler family. I love what they've helped me accomplish and my younger brother accomplish as well. I just give all due respect to all those guys. Kudos to all of them. Like, they didn't have to do what they did for myself or my brother, but like, they're great people. The Bigler family is great people to be around, and they put people before they put themselves. And I mean, I've learned to do that growing up with them, learning from them. And like, if I would want to be like anybody, it'd probably be Mark Bigler, Brad Bigler.
Yeah, so definitely good influences in your life, really helped you out. Now, you said that they helped your brother out too. Does your brother play ball?
Yes, he is currently at Division III Monmouth in Monmouth, Illinois. He's not as good as I am, but he's working on it. We have these talks all the time. This summer's going to be very interesting. He's a sophomore there now, and of course, for his professional season, and he still thinks that he can beat me. So it's going to be fun battles at home.
Yeah,
summer.
is there a little rivalry there? You guys play one-on-one a lot?
Not really. Like, we try to stay away from the one-on-one. We just kind of go hard in drills and try to, like, if I make 9 for 10, he'll try to make 10 for 10, or if he makes 7 for 10, like little competitive stuff like that. Like, we really don't think one-on-one helps prove a lot of stuff because we're different players. Like, in high school, I was a scorer, like, averaged 18 points a game, but in high school, he was a great point guard. I think he averaged, like, 7 or 8 assists a game, and he scored, like, 8, 9 points a game, depending on the game. I mean, obviously, some games he would step up and score, but he was a floor general. Like, I've never seen someone besides my mother that's louder than he is on the court.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
Like, he's very demanding. Like, even when it's me and him, and we're playing open gym against guys, like, he's literally, like, you could tell, like, he's like a point guard. He's like, get over here, set the screen, like, you move over here, you move over there. And I mean, it's fun to watch. Like, it's like a blessing to watch my little brother play basketball.
That's not good stuff. So yeah, he's a little, like you said, little floor general. Now, when you're playing at SMSU, what was it like being a student athlete? What was life on campus like?
Life on campus at SMSU, it was great. Marshall was a small community, and it was very sports oriented.
Yeah.
So, like, everyone in the town came to watch, whether it was basketball to wrestling to softball to baseball to football, all of that. And I believe they have a track and field team now and cross country now. So kudos to that. Being a student athlete at SMSU was a different kind of experience. Like I said, you knew everybody. So it's like kind of living in a glass house. Like, everybody made sure you were in class or you weren't in class. Like, I got in trouble a couple times for not going to class. So for all the young people that's listening, you should go to class, because if your coach is anything like my coach, you won't have feet because you'll run them off.
Oh no, like suicides for hours.
Oh, it was worse than so. I would have rather done suicides for hours.
Oh yeah.
To be honest. Yes, I think it would have been so much more easier to do suicides for hours.
Yeah,
but yeah, SMSU is a great place. I got a lot of friends there, a lot of people that I would call family there.
That's
good. And just in general, it was a great opportunity. to go to SMSU.
Yeah, it's like, a ton of fun. That's good stuff, man, for sure. Do you still keep in touch with the Bigler family on a regular basis?
Not on a regular basis. I mean, it's so, like, they're so busy. Like, Coach Mark Bigler, I can't say Coach Bigler because you don't know which one I'm talking about. Mark Bigler, the father, he still coaches Davenport West.
Okay.
And Brad, they're in season right now. It's a lot easier for me to catch games now because I wake up earlier and watch some of the games. But, like, they're in season. But every now and again, like, we'll converse back and forth about how's the season going or what I'm doing or just how family is and things like that.
Now, I see that in the 2008-2009 season, you decided to redshirt. What helped you make that decision?
It was an easy decision for me to redshirt. I knew going in that they kind of wanted me to redshirt, but after seeing the team, the 08-09, that's the year we went to the Elite Eight. No one on that team averaged over 8 points a game. It was one of the most craziest things I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, that's pretty intense.
But as a team, it was all around just a great vibe. And the position I was playing, they had 2 or 3 guys that were older than me that were playing in there. So it was an easy decision to redshirt and wanting to get ahead in school and wanting to just get the game flow of basketball at the college level. So redshirting was the best choice for that.
Yeah, so everything worked out. Now, have you been a forward your entire life?
In high school, I played a little bit of everything.
Okay.
When I got to SMSU, I was more a wing player.
Okay. So like a swingman.
Yep. And now professionally with the Mississauga Power, I play the 3-4, and now here in Mongolia, I play the 3-4 as well. Sometimes the 2, depending on the rotation we have in the game.
Like, what happened right after you played at SMSU? Did you go? You went straight to the Power. Is that correct?
Yes. That summer after SMSU, I was working out with my trainer, George Ellis.
Yeah.
And we were just working on different things of mine that I'm not good at, my weaknesses, and niching a couple of strengths, adding a couple things to my game. And I went to a couple different tryouts. I went to the Island Storm tryout, and then I went to a tryout in Las Vegas for the BJ League in Japan.
Okay.
And then I emailed my pro resume, my highlight films, my game films to the Power, and fortunate enough, they liked what they saw, and they invited me to training camp, so I didn't have to go to the NBL Combine, which I thought was a blessing.
Yeah.
So then early October, training camp started, and I was fortunate enough to make it through the couple weeks of training camp that we had. And, yeah, we just took off from there, and then I was a part of the Mississauga Power.
And it just everything worked out beautifully. What was that feeling like when you found out you'd made it onto the Mississauga Power?
Oh, it was a relief because training camp at the time it was Coach Fred Granum.
Yeah.
And we ran a lot in training camp. Like, we did a lot of running and things like that. So for me to come out on top in the mix with the other 11 guys that made it at the time was a wonderful thing. It was a blessing. And I just want to thank John Wiggins, Coach Fred Granum at the time, Coach Buchholz at the time, and my teammates that are still playing with them, and that if they're not still playing with them. I just want to thank all of them for just giving me the opportunity to play for the Mississauga Power.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a good experience. I would guess. Now, what do you think of Coach Buchholz's play? He's coaching in China now.
Yes. At the time when they told us that Coach Buchholz was going to be resigning and going to China, it was kind of a weird feeling at the time because it felt like everything was about to start clicking for us because we were on that little mini losing streak that we were on. Right after a win, they was like, we got some announcement to make. Coach Sean is going to be going to China, and he won't be able to finish the rest of the year off with us. So we were kind of all sad, but for Coach Buchholz, that was a great opportunity. And, like, I'm happy for him, and I just wish him the best of luck out there in China. Well, out here in China. I'm right next to him now. So
there you go, yeah. So maybe meet up and just hang out for a bit. Do you still keep in touch with any of the guys on the Mississauga Power?
Alex Johnson, that's my boy.
Yeah? Nice.
Yeah, me and Superman, that's what you guys all call him.
Yeah,
and
Superman.
Now I see why you guys call him Superman. It's been a blessing to me, Alex. Alex is a great guy. Like, it was hard times at the Powers, going on the losing streak, confidence down, and just the talks that I would have with Alex and Nick O'Corey. He's with the Island Storm now.
Yeah. There was that big trade, Greg Plummer for Nick.
And like just those, like us three, like it was just like a real brotherhood there. No disrespect to all the other guys that were there. Like we also had a friendship, but like Alex, myself, and Nick, it was a different feeling. It was more like a brotherhood than it was friendship. So I wish them the best of luck at their careers that they're going through now. Hopefully the Mississauga Power can get out of the slump. I say they just beat Brampton.
It was a huge win.
Yes, huge win. Right in front of school day. The crowd was crazy. I was watching it here online all the way from Mongolia.
Yeah, that's the beauty of it, how you can watch it online. I love that.
Yes, and I wish Nick the best of luck as well. If those guys are listening, I just want to tell them I love them.
Yeah, no,
they're my homies.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. You know, you have the full roster. There's the bonds with everyone, but there's, you know, like all the teams that I played with, there's always those guys that I had. You know, it was a special bond. You know, you felt like brothers. You felt like, you know, best friends. I know exactly what you mean, and you know, it's good to have those guys on the team with you. You know, people you can confide in. Well, I want to thank Lavione again for taking the time to chat with me. I know that ending seemed a bit abrupt, but that's because we're running low on time. So this is what I'm going to do for you guys. You make sure you tune in next week, and I will have part 2 of my interview with Lavione West just for you, great listeners of Full Court Press. So thank you for tuning into this show. I'm Justin Groulx. Until next time, go watch and play some basketball. Stay active, stay strong. Springtime is oh so close, and I will see you guys next week.
You've just been hit with Full Court Press. Courtesy of your host, the man, the myth, the legend, Justin Raindrops Groulx.